Good evening, friends. I'm Suhail Farouk, and you are watching me on YouTube. Finally, our handsome cricket captain of the past, the ex Prime Minister and Chairman PTI, has opened his mouth on the abduction and conversion of the young Hindu girls. But I think it's too late for the apologies. I think it's more or less like a movie that I watched when I was a kid. My father took me to see that movie, and it was called Too Late Heroes. During the 3.5 year time, more than 3.5 year time, whenever he was asked about this, he stayed in a state of denial. And it was so exactly the same kind of quietness that he kept, a silence that he kept, uh, the one that he kept about Uyghur Muslims being persecuted in China. Whenever he was asked about the Uyghur Muslims' treatment in China by the Chinese government, first, he denied. Then he said that he didn't know what's going on. And then, in the end, when he learned that it was becoming an issue, he finally opened his mouth and he said that we have a secret pact between the two governments and we don't speak openly about it, but we do speak about it. The Hindu girls' conversion, forceful conversion, and then getting married forcefully, putting them in a situation where they have to marry an older man or a young man, it doesn't make any difference. But those young girls, 14, 15, they even don't know about their own religion. And when they are forced to convert and then they come up and make a statement the very next day that they are impressed by the religion. I always ask this question to those who promote these videos, that those girls were really impressed by Islam. Let me ask them a couple of questions and we see how much they know about Islam. And the guy who's promoting that idea, I also wanted to ask that guy questions on how much he knew about the religion. And I know that nobody knows about it. It's just a drama. But anyway, during his reign of 3.5 years, more than 3.5 years, whenever he was asked this question, whenever he was asked about this issue, he kept quiet. He stayed in a state of denial all the time. First, he didn't admit it. And then finally, when he's no more in the government, and now he's attending some conferences and some jalsas over there in Sindh. And when he met all those minority people, he finally decided that he should make a statement and admit, because now it's not his reign, now it's not his government. So it's easy for him to make a statement. So this is the news. Imran Khan finally admits that Hindu girls are abducted and forcefully converted to Islam in Pakistan. Why after 3.5 years, Khan Sahib? Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan has admitted that forced conversion of young non-Muslim girls are carried out in the country. While addressing a minority convention, the cricketer turned politician on Thursday condemned the forced conversion of Hindu girls to Islam in Sindh. He went on to quote a verse from the Quran to claim that such coercion is not allowed in Islam. Okay, that's what he said.
कुरान की वाज़े आयत है, दीन में कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं, ये अल्लाह का फरमान है। जब भी कोई मुसलमान ये करता है वो अपने दीन के खिलाफ जाता है।
So finally, he has to come up again with a verse from Quran to prove that it is an act of humanity. What about the rest of the world where human rights are not being violated the way they are being violated in Pakistan, and where young girls are not coerced into forced conversion and then getting married away to the men of not their choice? What happens over there? People who don't follow Quran, people who don't follow scripture, people who don't follow Torah, people who don't follow Bible. Everybody knows about the human values and about the human rights and how bad it is, how bad and nefarious and smelly it is to forcefully convert the young girls to a certain religion and then forcing them to marry somebody else. And then bringing them the very next day to the television or to the radio or to the newspaper and forcing them to make a statement about this. But Most of us Pakistanis, including me, are hypocrites. This is our national character, and chieftain of all these hypocrite people of Pakistan is Imran Khan. I loved that person once. If you tell me that I am against PTI, I'm not against PTI. I'm not against Imran Khan. I'm only against his philosophy of being in denial and choosing the right time, choosing the convenient time to make a statement. Now he felt it very convenient that he could put all the burden on the other people about this. But this has been happening for quite some time, and nobody talked about it on the international forum. You talk about Islamophobia, very good. But what about things happening in your own country? Did you talk about it to anybody? Did you give any directives to anybody? No, never. Why? Because you were in a state of denial. The government was in a state of denial. They never admitted it. Now you could put burden, you could put shit on Sindh's government, and you can say that Zardari government, because those are the people who are ruling Sindh, and they should have taken the initiative. But they take the initiative or not, but they make statements all the time and they admit that it's happening. But Khan Sahib never made a statement about this. And now when it is easier for him, it is convenient for him, it is for the preparation of the next election, and he wants to get those votes, now he's making such statements. But anyway, it makes no difference. I know, like the way I loved Imran Khan, I wanted to be like him once when I was a young boy. And now another group of people, just like me when I was young, are following him. But sooner or later, that spell is going to be broken, and people are going to identify and see the real face of not only Imran Khan, but all the other politicians too. They have been seeing them. But then, as they say, there are no choices. Choices are always there. Choices are always there. But of course, we follow what we want to follow. And in Pakistan, it's so easy to sell anti-American narrative. And if you lace it with religion, with Islam, then it's easy selling. It sells like a hot cake. Even now, when he's talking about admitting it, he brought a verse from Quran. It's understood all over the world that what is forceful conversion, what is a young girl, what is an underage girl, and how bad it is to do it forcefully. Everybody knows it in the West. People who don't follow any religion, people who don't go to find a verse to prove, to give an Islamic touch to such kind of conversation. But anyway, this is the way Khan operates. This is the way every Pakistani operates. This is the way we operate. We need to unlearn all this and admit that human rights are beyond the scripture. Human rights are something which is being carved and being narrated very clearly by the United Nations and in the developed Western countries. People know about it. We don't have to bring in any scripture to give explanation about it. It's about time we admitted that we were making a mistake. Finally, he admitted it, that we were making this mistake and we were abducting Pakistani girls, Pakistani Hindu and minority girls, and forcefully converting them to Islam and then marrying them to some men. But it's too late, and it's not the right time to admit it. He should have admitted it when he was the prime minister. He didn't at that time. So to me, this kind of admission or an apology is pure hypocrisy, and Khan is at the top of the list when we talk about hypocrites. That's all for tonight. Thank you. Good night.